19 keys, and this is high-level conversation. But I wanted to throw in, you know, I was talking with my brother Blue Pill, and Mama Pill, and Red Pill, and KT the Arts Degree one time. I was in New York, and came up in a conversation about the Dr. Sebi diet. And you know, Mama Pill, she was married to Dr. Sebi when he was going through his cases, and found in his first facility to where is now where the current Barclay Center is in New York. Mm-hmm. And so she helped him through that entire period, through the trial and everything else. But me and Blue was talking about that diet, where that diet was more specifically that electrical food diet there where you see the small list was for people who's sick. Mm-hmm. So it was a healing diet. Now don't get me wrong, most people are sick. You understand me? But the strictness was specifically with those restrictions to heal. When you talk about hearing all of the people that got cancers or AIDS or herpes or all of those different things, it was to electrify that body, create all those restrictions so that no other chemicals, and this is the way I'm interpreting now after he said that, but I know a lot of people start off with that and they can't adhere to it, you understand me, because it was always meant to be like, you know, if you will, a medical guide. You understand me? Imagine a doctor saying, look, you got cancer, you can only eat this, that, and the third. But at the same time, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it just because most people in America are sick.
No, fact.
Just undiagnosed.
Yeah, and there's a lot of genetic weaknesses going on too. Me personally, I will use, and all much respect to Dr. Sebi, late great, he the one who ignited the flame in me that got me doing what I'm doing now.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad was my first for How to Eat to Live.
Man, that book is amazing.
Yeah.
Till this day.
Yeah.
Till this day.
I mean, well, you know, a lot of people don't give it credit, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sparked the whole entire health food revolution in America.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
That's what Dr. Sebi said.
Amongst many other things he sparked.
Oh, yeah.
Amongst many other things. Facts. These are facts.
You know what I'm saying?
But, you know, me, I'm not going to say I 100% agree with the diet. I do agree for a transitional period. But me, you know, as the fruitarian, you know, studies clinical trials, because, you know, everything, the HIV that we heal, the herpes that we heal, which you can pull this stuff up, the herpes cases, the cancer cases, we done got people out of wheelchairs that was wheelchair bound for 8 years. We healed somebody in Detroit that couldn't walk for 10 years, you know what I'm saying, in a wheelchair. These was on high energetic fruit diets. And then studying our physiology, you know, it's proven. I know that our body's done adapted to certain foods, but it's proven that we yield the most energy and we live the best and have clearer thoughts on all fruit diets. So
what is a culture that is mostly just a high fruit diet?
What do you mean?
Like, is there a culture that you can look to, like in Africa, with some original people that to this day eat mostly just high fruit?
So you got islanders. Islanders eat mostly fruit. They do have vegetables here and there, but they eat mostly fruits. Yeah, islanders, most definitely. I got plenty of books, too, that talk about the fruitarian diet. You got Back to Eden that talks about people that used to eat fruits and nothing but fruits. You also got Dr. Morse. He talks about the same thing. You got Dr. Layla Africa in his early books. He was talking about how we all came from that fruit diet. You know what I'm saying? And again, once you study the physical makeup and you put in the clinical trials, you know, we got 12 years in of putting people on all fruits and seeing what it does to the body. Not saying that these other diets, livid, should I say, because I hate the word diet, can't heal you, but I see fast healing, especially neurologically, is going to be on high energetic foods. You know, but you do have to put in, you know, genetic weaknesses, man. We genetically weak. And every time the child get older and have a baby, that's another genetic weakness. So we see fruits, people get on fruits and they get completely skinny. You start seeing a sunken face and, you know, they look malnutrition. But that's the genetics for us eating all these acidic forming foods that have been breaking down our tissues and breaking down our cells and our mitochondria. So now you get on these high foods and we got to put in the fact too that the ground is malnutrition. They done completely messed up the soil. You know what I'm saying? The fruits that you eating now are lacking a lot of they phytonutrients and nutrition. Even the Sebi diet, a lot of that stuff is lacking the stuff that wood had in there hundreds of years ago because what they doing to the earth, man. So, but if you look at it from a physical standpoint, just physiology, you look at it from our small intestinal tract, even when you get into the pH balance of something called trypsin, amylose, the way our mouth and our salivary glands produce these alkalining breaking down agents, man, we are frugivores. You know what I'm saying? You can scientifically
I can't wait to hear a lot of, your peers that's in the world of, you know, nutrition and health, you understand me, give their review,
Yeah.
you understand me, if you will, about the ideas of more specifically purely eating fruit, you understand me? And I think it's definitely worth a try. I think this is where a lot of people have misconceptions about fruit when it comes to sugar. You understand me? Because people don't believe that you can break down the sugar that's in fruit because they think of it in the same way they think about white sugar or other types of sugar.
Sucrose, pentose, maltose,
Can
and
you
all
get
that.
people to break down on sugar and why you can eat fruit without worrying about the sugar aspect?
Of course. So when you got sugar, you got three main bases of sugars. You got galactose, which is produced by the black woman's breast. You have fructose, which is actually naturally occurring in your fruits. And then you have glucose, which is naturally occurring in your vegetables. All right. So I already told y'all earlier in the interview that your fructose yields 12,000 angstroms of energy. Your glucose or your vegetables only yield 9,000 angstroms of energy. Fruits is good. The only way I can heal diabetes 1 or 2 is by way of fructose. When you get somebody with diabetes and they're insulin dependent, you have something called the islands of Langerhans. So they'll say that sugar raises the glucose. You a glucose load on fruits, which is a total lie. Every diabetic patient that I've had that had 1 or 2 hyperglycemia that had or diabetes mellitus, we healed them on an all fruit diet with herbs. Now, this is the reason why. Fructose. When you eat fructose, fructose bypass the pancreas. The pancreas has something called the islands of Langerhans. You have the alpha cells, which produce glycogen. You have the beta cells that produce insulin. Then you have the delta cells that produce something called somatostatin. Somatostatin is a mixture of a growth pituitary hormone, and it's mixed with glycogen again. Well, in order to actually break down glucose and put glucose in the blood to penetrate a cell, that's what insulin does. Insulin is used as a key. So insulin is a key that take glucose, unlock the cellular membrane, and then the cell swallows the glucose and eat it. Then it gets actually broken down and metabolized by something called the mitochondria, and then you yield something called ATP, ADP, and AMP, adenosine triphosphate, adenosine monophosphate, and adenosine diphosphate. This is the energy. So we talking about carbon. Carbon is on your periodic table. All carbon is sugar. Sugar breaks down into carbon. Carbon, what happens is you eat some sugar, right? You will eat the sugar. Once the sugar gets converted in the body, it is CHO. What the conversion is taken out of that hydrogen, because hydrogen is acidic. So once you take the hydrogen out of the CHO, it's just carbon and oxygen. This is alkaline. So sugar is alkaline. What's not alkaline is when they take the sugar out of something like a corn, because corn have natural fructose, and then they burn it and change the chemical composition because they put fire to it. The moment you put fire to it, it changes the chemical composition. Now they're heightening it. So they call this high fructose corn syrup. Now it's no longer a fructose, it becomes a dextrose, or it becomes a pentose, which is a 5-sugar phosphate, or they call it sucrose. These things are called polysaccharides. See that we're not talking about monosaccharides. Monosaccharides is what's in your fruits, what's in your vegetables. Polysaccharides is what they're creating in these white man's laboratories. That's what's bad for us. But back to the fructose. Let me show you how amazing fruits is. If you are diabetic and your pancreas is down because whether it got a fluke worm in it, Fascioloscus bushki worm in it, a hookworm, a thread worm, usually you find parasites inside of the pancreas when somebody is suffering from diabetes, and you find that mucus is down or the adrenals are down because the adrenals is in control of something called the autonomic nervous system. The prefix to autonomic is auto. These are things that runs on autopilot. Digestion is supposed to be on autopilot. The flickering of your eyes is on autopilot. Your breathing and your lung capacity is on autopilot. The heartbeat is on autopilot. All these are controlled by the parasympathetic, sympathetic, autonomic nervous system. Well, your pancreas yielding insulin, that's a nervous system issue because the adrenals are down. And the reason why the adrenals are down because you're eating the wrong foods, and these foods are creating toxins and byproducts that you're not getting out of your body because you haven't opened up the lymphatic system and the kidneys to filtrate all of that toxemia out, or your skin is not working. Now check this out. That's the pancreas being down. So what food can I eat that don't break down the glucose? The only other food that I got is fructose. Now, would you glucose load for a couple of days? Yes, you will, because you introducing your body to a new sugar. But it's a natural occurring sugar by Yahweh. Look, so you have 2 types of digestion, right? You have pancreas digested enzymes that break down the actual glucose. Not only that, the pancreas yield the islands of Langerhans and yields insulin to turn that key to bring glucose to the cell so you can have energy. Fructose completely bypass the pancreas. It go a lipid route. This lipid route is through the liver, and then it's called cellular infusion, where the actual sugar will infuse itself in the cell and don't even use the pancreas. And there's plenty articles, the government articles written up on this, and we have the clinical trials with at least 100 diabetics that prove this stuff, that we healed them on an all-fruit diet with minimum herbs.
So let me ask you, because that was a beautiful breakdown, first of all. You understand me? I can definitely tell you well studied in your science. You talked about ATP. Which fruits have the greatest production for ATP?
We would say high-yielding fruits, the fruits that grows the highest to the sky. So now we're talking about carbohydrates, and all that is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen mixed together. So once that oxygen get out, these are called high-yielding carbon constituent chains.
Like bananas?
So bananas will give you a high-yielding ATP, but bananas are on the starchy side. So I never recommend anybody eating bananas that's trying to cleanse, because now you're gonna start building up a whole lot of glycogen on the liver. You see what I'm saying? So we would say things like mangoes, coconut water, very electrical, cucumbers, very electrical. Now we're starting to get into something that you would call H3O2 change, not H2O, which is water like this. See, this water dehydrates you. That's why the more of this water you drink, the more dehydrating you are. See, but if you drink the beautiful thing about fruits is not only can you eat the fruit to get the macro substance, but the micro substance, which is the structured jelly water called H3O2 in it, is your hydrative factor. So you're supposed to eat your fruits for your water and for your macro constituents. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're getting the water and the air
at the same time.
So I like that, because for the adenosine triphosphate, you know, when you utilize cordyceps, that's one of the things that it increases, right? The ATP production. So when you're working out, it's consistently giving you oxygen.
Facts.
You understand me? And what happens, you know, when people work out and why you get those aches, you understand me, is because, you know, you're not getting enough oxygen to that muscle.
Facts.
So if you consistently getting oxygen while you working out, then you can work out more and more and more and more and more. That's why I asked that, because if a person takes that particular dietary recommendation or lipid recommendation, when it comes to, I think you said coconut, mango,
cucumbers, watermelons, fruits, berries, and melons. Fruits is your highest. I mean, berries is your highest, because berries have the oxygenators. Them are your antioxidants. You know what I'm saying? Them are where all of your biophotons and bioflavonoids.
So now I want to get to the biophotons and the berries in a second.
But I want to talk about your mushrooms though, because you talking about the cordyceps. Them are high yielding. But if you look at the chemical makeup of cordyceps,
and they're really a fungi rather than a mushroom.
Yeah, and we're talking about the actual mycelium network.
Yeah.
This is an invisible network that everything is. Without mushrooms, we wouldn't even be here. Everything exists off this mycelium network. But guess what is the main chemical constituents of mushrooms? Carbon. Well, guess what carbon is? Sugar. Glucose, galactose, and fructose. So even when you get into the mushroom kingdom, you still talking about a high sugar diet.
Now, there's another thing that you said in there. You talked about the lymphatic system. But I heard you speak on the idea that you don't truly believe in the immune system.
No.
And I know the lymphatic system is key for the immune system.
Okay.
So give me your breakdown of your philosophy of why you don't particularly believe in the immune system when you're talking about the function of all these things working.
Okay, so you're talking about immune system, or you're talking about immunity, and then they say that what makes up the immune system is the T cells. The T cells is actually the thymus cells. They talk about the B cells, that's the bone marrow cells. They talk about the macrophages, that's inside of something called lymph nodes. You know, they're talking about the phagocytes, that's produced by the white blood cells that goes to the army school that we call the thymus gland to get their actual military position. You see that? So they talk about neutrophils, basophils, monophils. So when you look up what they call the immune system, it's nothing but the lymphatic system. Because last time I checked, everything that they say make up the lymphatic system, the immune system is a lymphatic associated organ. So where's the immune system then? And what do that really mean?
Well, my interpretation was that it's just talking about the system, these things working together, and that when one or these two things are off, then that's when the system itself is broken down, rather than one central thing being the key to keeping you safe or not getting sick.
Right, so I agree with that, right? So now we got to get into wordplay then, because they will take the immune system and then feed you their Greek philosophy to keep you away from how to truly heal the system of the body, which is the lymphatic system. So when I say I don't believe in the immune system, in the way you just put it, I believe in that degree.
Oh, you don't believe in their interpretation?
But their interpretation of it is totally off, so I'd rather not even use the word, because it keeps you distracted from the big system that cleans the body anyway, which is the great lymphatic system. Because they got you thinking that you got immunity from something. No, it's cause and effect. what you put inside of your body, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. They got you thinking that you can take a certain pill and it'll combat your body against this and that. No, this is a lifestyle change. See, immunity comes between lifestyle change. So you have people studying up on immunity and doing things to build their immune system, but they're not changing their life. And that's the way that they do the propaganda to keep you coming back to them. They even got something called immune therapy, immune suppressive therapy, which is chemotherapy and all these things that's supposed to be good for the immune system in the body that actually breaks down the lymphatic system. So in the terminology you put it, I believe in it. But for our people that's learning new words and really showing them the bigger picture, I'd rather just scratch immune system all the way out of the picture, because when you start studying the immune system from the allopathic community, it gives you all the wrong definitions, and you would never understand how to truly heal the body and bring the body back into a balance of homeostasis.
Now that's key. Now when you talk about allopathic, so that gives me a good segue into a couple of things I want to talk about. Specifically, when you talk about Western versus Eastern medicine. Yeah. Right? And Eastern medicine is more so healing from within.
Facts.
You understand me? And Western medicine is, basically taking pills.
Suppressive therapy.
Yeah, suppressive therapy, having nothing to do with healing or curing.
Facts.
You understand me? Just aiding you in your disease to manage it, so that the longer you are managing it, the more they're getting paid to help you manage it.
Facts.
You understand me? And that's the unfortunate reality. So it's like, then when you're not looking at it from a Western perspective, you look at it from an Eastern perspective, because a lot of people don't realize that the way they go about healing and medicine around the world is completely different than the science of America.
Bro, they got something called medicineless hospitals in the East.
Yeah.
Where you go to the hospital and it ain't not one damn pill there.
Yeah.
And people coming out whole.
Also, think about the hospitals and the way that they look, man. The hospitals look like you about to die. You go in there, they just white walls. They, the colors, nothing is vibrancy. Nothing speaks to life. Like there should be plants in there. There should be crystals. There should be environments of vibrancy. It should be clean, good foods. Everything in that hospital you should walk in there and feel like, oh, I'm raising my vibration, I'm about to live.
So check this out.
But hospitals feel like a mortuary.
If you look down on a hospital, right? I want you, when you get your time, I want you to look this up. Look down on a hospital, just Google a hospital and get the blueprint of them. It looked just like a rat maze. I mean, identical as a rat maze. Yeah. So it's all about these mazes and these environments they putting us in. And that's why infrastructures is important.
I mean, hospitals, schools, and prisons all have similarities.
Yes, and it's all a pipeline.
Yeah.
All a pipeline. School to prison pipeline. If you don't go to prison, school to hospital. Right. All due to how you're interacting with your environment. Yeah, and then hospitals. Yeah. It's built up like horse stalls.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is high-level conversation. Having a problem with your little swimmers, having a problem with your testosterone, not feeling quite like a man when you go into the gym, can't go in there and exert maximum energy, falling off. How about you try and tap into some of this sports moss, specially formulated so you can feel like a man again. You can tap in, high endurance, and at the same time, it's a very small recovery rate because of what's inside this bottle right here. Tapped in for the man inside you. Now we know toxic masculinity is the new trending topic. But what about healthy masculinity, goddammit? What if I told you inside this bottle is a little bit of healthy masculinity? Would you take it? Make sure you tap in.